Welcome to the super secret WVLP statistical laboratory, where the results from the 2 Sweet 16 of Northwest Indiana Empty Arena Wrestling are about to be determined. So there's 8 matchups now, 16 participants, and because the stakes are higher, when I put up the notice, I said that the nudge for giving a promo would go up a little bit. So in our first match, we have Dick Davis against BD Smooth. Dick Davis did submit a video promo, so he wins on a roll of 1-7. BD Smooth 8-10. Dick Davis wins. Next, we have Young Money against Gabe the Brave. At even odds, 1-5 for Young Money, 6-10 for Gabe the Brave. Young Money. Richie Rothschild, who delivered a promo versus Adam Bueller. Richie 1-7. Ooh, sneaking in there. Didn't even need the extra promo odds there. K9 versus Cujo. Cujo with an audio submission. So Cujo 1-7, K9 8-10. Big win for Cujo. Then we have Rancid Joey Rack versus Cletus Farmer. Cletus sent a statement to be read. So 1-7 for Cletus. Also didn't need the extra promo nudge. Fireball versus JC Bunyan. Even at 1-5 for Fireball, 6-10 for JC Bunyan. Tony Thunder. The next two are also even. 1-5 for Tony Thunder. 6-10, Luis Rojas. And finally, 1-5, DW Kelly, 6-10, Angus McDuff. Ooh, right on the line, but DW Kelly with the win. All right, the rounds are shorter, the die rolling is less. Now it's time for our catastrophic rolls. In the last round, poor Polish heartthrob Jaron Skalko went out with a catastrophic injury even after his win. So remember how this works is a 20-sided die. A roll of 1 causes a catastrophic injury for the winner, who then must be replaced. So Dick Davis. Whoops. Try that again. Dick Davis. Young Money. Richie Rothschild. Cujo. Cletus. Oh, Cletus. Oh, man. Okay. Well, I have to figure out what to do with him. Fireball. Tony Thunder. And DW Kelly. Whoa. Yeah, DW Kelly is hurting, but he's still in. Oh, man. Cletus Farmer. After a victory against Rancid Joey Rack in the Barnhouse versus the Gearhouse match, looks like something bad happened to him, even though he did get the win. So what happens next? Well, we'll have to see. The commissioners of the Northwest Indiana Empty Arena Wrestling organization have conferred to discuss what to do about this situation with Cletus Farmer having suffered a catastrophic injury after his after his victory against Rancid Joey Rack. What the commissioners have decided to do is have a 6-man elimination scramble. The 6 men in this scramble are the 5 people who have previously submitted either an audio or video promo, but have since been eliminated from the tournament. This would include Hardcore Harry, Diesel Troxy, Crimson Dynamo, Billy the Kid, Angus McDuff, and the 6th entrant, apparently just out of fairness or because the commissioners have been intimidated by the family, Rancid Joey Rack, who was just defeated by Cletus Farmer. He gets to go into this competition as well, so he doesn't just get to advance on a forfeit, he's got to work for it a little bit. So there are 6 10-sided die on the screen. Numbers 1-3 across the top, Hardcore Harry, Diesel Troxy, and Crimson Dynamo, and then along the bottom, Billy the Kid, Angus McDuff, and Rancid Joey Rack. This is an elimination tournament, so we're going to roll all 6 die, and the lowest roll is eliminated. Oh, and it's a tie for the lowest roll. So we need to get rid of these. The tie was between Crimson Dynamo and Billy the Kid. So now they're going to have a roll-off. Lowest roll is eliminated. And Crimson Dynamo is gone. Okay, so let's repopulate the screen now with 5. Hardcore Harry, Diesel Troxy, Billy the Kid along the top row, Angus McDuff, Rancid Joey Rack along the bottom row. Lowest roll is eliminated. And Rancid Joey Rack must be overtired from the previous matchup against Cletus because he's unable to continue in this scramble. Okay, Hardcore Harry, Diesel Troxy in the top row, Billy the Kid, Angus McDuff in the bottom row. Lowest roll is eliminated. A 2. Sorry, Angus McDuff, the luck of the Irish wasn't with you. Okay, Hardcore Harry, Diesel Troxy, Billy the Kid, lowest roll is eliminated. Okay, my dog is next to me right here, shaking, but there must be thundering going on outside. Well, the lowest roll is a tie, so let's get rid of Billy the Kid for a second. Hardcore Harry and Diesel Troxy roll off for elimination. Oh, geez. Okay, Diesel Troxy eliminated. And then let's leave these 2 die up here. Hardcore Harry on the left, Billy the Kid on the right. Lowest roll is eliminated. Hardcore Harry is eliminated. Billy the Kid, congratulations. You get to re-enter the tournament in the place of Cletus Farmer, who suffered a catastrophic injury in his last match. So now it will be Billy the Kid moving on to face, well, somebody. I'm not going to tell you yet because I haven't released the complete set of the new round. So you'll just have to wait. Round 3 of Northwest Indiana Empty Arena Wrestling is about to get underway here from an undisclosed location, probably in the Northwest Indiana region. I'm Ken the Metal Professor, your host for the festivities. Before round 3 gets underway, let's have a quick recap of some of the events that occurred in round 2, which were quite unusual. In one of the matches, we had Sabotage taking on the Polish heartthrob Jaron Skalka. Jaron Skalka won that match. However, at the end of the match, he was ambushed by Steven Drochner, who Jaron Skalka had defeated in the previous round. Jaron Skalka was injured so badly by Drochner that he was unable to continue. And so the commissioners had a quick meeting and decided what they were going to do was have a elimination 3-way match between Sabotage and Steven Drochner and newcomer K9, who'd been waiting patiently in the wings for an opportunity. There was an elimination match. Steven Drochner was eliminated, then Sabotage was eliminated. K9 was the winner. And so K9 is up against Cujo in this current round 3. Now, we were able to speak to Steven Drochner about his actions. Let's hear what he had to say.
So I am here to give you the great news from Steven Drochner himself. Jaron Skalka beat me in round 1, and then he went on to round 2 of this tournament, so I had to do the only thing that's right in life and attack him from behind, break an arm maybe, I don't know if it's broken. However, he's no longer in the tournament. I'm taking his spot because I'm going to win the whole tournament, whether you want me to or not. So, crown me now. Thank you.
Now, obviously, he was getting a little ahead of himself. We didn't just put him in place of the Polish heartthrob. He had to try to earn his way in, and apparently he used up so much energy in his heinous attack on Jaron Skalka that he didn't have enough left to actually win the play-in game, so to speak. And so he is not continuing in the tournament. His attack was all for naught. Now, people are milling around before the activities get underway here. So let's go have a word with Cujo, who is getting ready to face the surprise opponent for him, K9.
So let me understand something. Jaren Skalka gets taken out by Steven Drochner because he lost his little match, and now instead of facing Skalka, I gotta face somebody named K9. Now don't get me wrong, I will take on all comers, but this is a little bit of an insult, don't you think? That being said, Drochner, I'm sure we'll cross paths at some point, and it will be a wonderful match. Plus, I gotta get you back for taking out my buddy Skalka, because that was gonna be a hell of a lot of fun. But more importantly, let's talk about K9. Let's talk about the guy who has several pictures of himself in front of several different promotions banners or entryways, acting like he's some sort of superstar. Now, you probably have been around the block a little bit more than I have. And for that, I commend you. This business is tough. It takes a toll on you. It makes you feel pain that you've never experienced before. But you need to understand something. If you come into this match with me, you're not just wrestling me. You're not just wrestling Cujo. You're wrestling all of those inner demons that are all up in my head, clawing to get out. And believe me, over this entire quarantine, they have been clawing very, very hard. So when you step in the ring, you need to make peace with the idea that you're not just going in for another match. You're going in with the goal to survive. As always, I'll see you later.
Richie Rothschild is set to take on Adam Bueller.
Adam Bueller is not just the best wrestler to have ever worked in cargo shorts. He's a legend of Midwest wrestling. Such a legend that I looked up to him and I idolized him all throughout my career. I idolized him until the fates whispered in my ear and they said, go to the cards. And when I did, I found that if you're a jack, I'm a king. If you're a draw 2, I'm a draw 4. If you're a shock, I'm a lightning bolt. The cards don't lie, Adam Bueller. And they told me that me, Richie Rothschild, is just a strictly better version of you. The fates wouldn't be wrong, would they? No, they would not.
And Dick Davis is looking forward to a match versus BD Smooth.
BD Smooth, congratulations, pal. You made it through the first 2 rounds of the Northwest Indiana Empty Arena Wrestling for the Cure, for the Cause, Prize Fighting Quarantine Tournament of Doom. Not only that, but you managed to knock off Moxie Molly and Maverick Cage, who just so happen to be both halves of the absolute worst power couple in the history of professional wrestling. But guess what? Round 2 is as far as you're going to even advance, because now you have me to worry about. And I've seen you around, rolling around in wrestling rings in your tighty whities, hanging out with Hardcore Harry, wrestling people like Tombstone Tracy. You have a reputation. People know who you are. I'll give you that. But guess what? After you lose to me in this tournament, people are going to know you even more. And you better pray that you never actually have to step in the ring with me, because nobody's ever going to want to see you ever again. Don't make me embarrass you, pal.
Cletus Farmer is not available for comment at the moment. However, he did deliver a written statement about his match where he says, "Rancid Joey Rack, Cletus is going to show you what hard times on the farm are really like. Nothing personal, just business. Welcome to the barnyard." And this is a good segue to point out that the commissioners have made some of these matches into special attractions. For example, it's ironic that Cletus Farmer says welcome to the barnyard, because his match with Rancid Joey Rack is going to be a bunkhouse versus the gearhouse match, where Cletus Farmer is eligible to bring any object that would normally be found in a barn on a farm, and Rancid Joey Rack is eligible to bring any implement that might be found in an auto or motorcycle repair shop to use in his match. The match between Cujo and K9, I mean, come on. It's got to be a dog collar match, right? This stuff just writes itself. The match between Richie Rothschild and Adam Bueller is a hydroxychloroquine on a pole match. Winner gets a vial of the cure. Fireball versus JC Bunyan coming up later will be a lumberjack match, and that's also pretty well set in stone just anyway. And just to make things interesting, you know, if WWE can settle the issues of tag team titles by having singles matches, then there's nothing stopping us from using tag team matches to settle what should be a singles competition. And so the match that is supposed to be Young Money versus Gabe the Brave in singles competition will actually be High Society, Young Money and Thomas the Benjamin Keith, versus the Old World Outlaws of Gabe the Brave and Billy the Kid. It looks like things are getting ready. The ref's out there. The lighting is on. And the first contestants are in the ring. I'm staying here backstage, and I will report on the events after it is all done. Let's take it to the ring.
You are listening to the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program on WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana.
You suck!
It is time to hear the results of this round of 16, the Too Sweet 16 round in this Northwest Indiana Empty Arena Wrestling tournament. So 16 participants, 8 matches. Boy, this takes a lot less time than it used to. Our opening match featured Dick Davis against BD Smooth. You may remember having heard the words of Dick Davis regarding his match with BD Smooth, where he congratulated BD Smooth on eliminating both Moxie Molly and the physical specimen Maverick Cage. Now, he also did mention that, in his opinion, these two formed the worst power couple in all of wrestling. Moxie Molly and Maverick Cage heard these words, and they were not pleased about them. So they came to ringside to be in the corner of BD Smooth. Now, they were not directly interfering in the match, but they were causing distractions and cheering on BD Smooth. At one point, though, Dick Davis, in a Herculean feat of strength, hoisted BD Smooth up in a gorilla press over his head and threw him out of the ring on top of Maverick Cage and Moxie Molly. The three of them got totally tangled up. This prevented BD Smooth from making it back into the ring before the count of 10. Dick Davis is victor by countout. As BD Smooth landed on Maverick Cage and Moxie Molly, a very sweaty BD Smooth was getting all mixed up in their limbs and on them and under them, and Moxie Molly and Maverick Cage were last seen running for the showers. If you're keeping up with the national scene, you may have noticed a couple of times recently that WWE has sorted out tag team titles through the use of singles matches. Well, we did the opposite. We sorted out what should have been a singles match with a tag team competition. Instead of just Young Money taking on Gabe the Brave Juarez, the commissioners allowed Young Money to be joined by his partner Thomas the Benjamin Keith, otherwise known as High Society, and they allowed Gabe the Brave to be hooked up with his partner Billy the Kid in a team otherwise known as the Old West Outlaws. Now, in this match, High Society was up to their usual shenanigans of ref distracting and cheating and eye-poking and trying to buy out the competition, which didn't work, by the way. And so you know what to expect from a high society match. Unfortunately, though, Gabe the Brave and Billy the Kid, they were trying to play it down the line and make this a proper match. And unfortunately, in the face of the shenanigans of high society, that did not do the job. High society ended up getting the pin after distracting the ref for like the 17th time. Young Money advances in this tournament. Richie Rothschild took on Adam Bueller in a hydroxychloroquine on a pole match. A vial of the magical compound was hoisted over the top turnbuckle in one of the corners on a pole. The match went back and forth. There was beating, there was scrambling, there was screaming, there was yelling. Eventually, Richie Rothschild gets up onto the top rope in the corner and gets the vial off of the pole. However, on his way back down, he tripped and fell, losing the vial. The referee awarded Richie Rothschild the match because he did, in fact, come down off the turnbuckle with the vial. So he wins the match. But Adam Bueller picked up the vial and was seen running to the back, chanting, my precious," with the vial in his hands. So Richie Rothschild gets the match. Adam Bueller gets the hydroxychloroquine. Cujo taking on relative newcomer K9 and surprise entrant after the end of the previous round. Now, Cujo versus K9, I mean, obviously there has to be a dog collar match, right? Well, Cujo ended up having the bigger bark and the bigger bite. K9 and Cujo went back and forth. They clobbered each other with the 10-foot chain in between the dog collars. They hit each other with it. They choked each other with it. But at the end, K9 was choking Cujo. He had the chain wrapped a couple of times around Cujo's neck and was standing behind Cujo. Cujo dropped his own legs out and turned that choke into a stunner, which stunned K9. During his moment of disorientation, K9's moment, Cujo spun around and also then did a face-forward jawbreaker, dropping K9's jaw right on top of Cujo's head. 2 subsequent blows to the underside of your chin like that will definitely press your loopy button. K9 was unable to continue after that. He fell over, Cujo pinned him. So Cujo moves on. In a bunkhouse versus gearhouse match, Cletus Farmer takes on Rancid Joey Rack. Cletus Farmer was eligible to bring any implement commonly found in a barn or on a farm. Rancid Joey Rack is eligible to bring to the ring any implement commonly found in an automobile or motorcycle repair shop. You know those really big heavy chains with the giant hooks on the end of them that they use to hoist engines out of cars? I don't know what they're called, but that's what it was. That's what Rancid Joey Rack brought to the ring. Cletus Farmer at first didn't look like he had brought anything, but as he was dodging the swinging chain that Rancid Joey Rack was flinging at him, Cletus Farmer dodged out of the ring, pulled up the apron, pulled out a gasoline-powered rototiller, and started it up. When he pushed it back in the ring, this caught the chain that Joey Rack was swinging around, looped the chain in, knocked Joey Rack off of his feet, allowing Cletus Farmer to hit a big splash onto Joey Rack and get the pin. Now, unfortunately, having a live rototiller in the ring, let's just say it's something OSHA would not enjoy. And as a result, we won't describe the injury, but we will say that Cletus Farmer had a really bad catastrophic injury at the end of this match, making him unable to continue in the tournament even though he won. The commissioners met to talk about what to do. Obviously, they weren't just going to let Rancid Joey Rack move on in a forfeit, so they made him work for it. There was a 6-man elimination scramble featuring Rancid Joey Rack and 5 other participants who previously in the tournament had submitted promos to show their engagement with the tournament, but had subsequently lost anyway. So they had their second chance in the tournament, and that featured, checking my notes, Hardcore Harry, Diesel Traxi, Crimson Dynamo, Billy the Kid, and Angus McDuff, and also, of course, Rancid Joey Rack. After 5 eliminations, the last man standing was Billy the Kid. And so he will be taking Cletus Farmer's place, moving on to the round of 8. Fireball took on J.C. Bunyan in a lumberjack match. There was blood, there was sweat, there was tears, but in the end, it was the lumberjacks that Fireball had brought along who did more damage to J.C. Bunyan than the lumberjacks that J.C. Bunyan brought along had done to Fireball. And so Fireball is the victor in that lumberjack match against J.C. Bunyan. 2 matches left to describe. Tony Thunder took on Luis Rojas in a very long and intense and a super emotional match. I don't know if these guys have a history together, but clearly there is a great amount of respect between the two. At the end of the match, Luis Rojas was just on his last breath. He was on his knees in the center of the ring. It looked like he wanted to fall over and collapse, but he had his fists up. He was not going to go down. He was in tears, using the last bit of energy that he had right there in the middle of the ring, on his knees, holding up his fists. Tony Thunder, standing in the corner, was seen to whisper, "I'm not sorry, I hate you." And he delivered a huge super kick to Luis Rojas, knocking him over and pinning him. And so Tony Thunder moves on in the tournament. Finally, D.W. Kelly versus Angus McDuff. Angus McDuff had what could have been the highlight of his career in the previous round by defeating his mentor Nick Cutler. I worry that he may have left it all on the line there, as he was a little bit out of sorts in this match. D.W. Kelly had more focus, more intensity, and he did get the win. And that's a wrap. That is the end of this Too Sweet 16 in the Northwest Indiana Empty Arena Wrestling Tournament. The next round that will be reported on next week, well, maybe later this week, will feature Dick Davis against Young Money, Richie Rothschild against Cujo, Cletus Farmer's replacement, Billy the Kid, versus Fireball. Now this will be interesting because that is a rematch. Because of the way things have worked out with Billy the Kid replacing Cletus Farmer, Billy the Kid had already taken on Fireball previously in the tournament, but he's moving back in to take him on again. We'll see how that goes. And lastly, Tony Thunder versus D.W. Kelly. As always, thanks for listening to the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program on WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. Next week, you will hear a report on the round of 8 and the round of 4, and you'll have to wait one more week to hear the winner of the whole thing.